What's up, guys, and welcome back to TimToks, the real estate show where we talk about real estate, life, and a little bit of everything else. Ethan, hit us with the intro music. Welcome back to another episode. It is our first episode of 2023. This is crazy, but we are here, and we took a week off to give ourselves Christmas because I didn't have a cameraman. Ethan was on vacation. I couldn't have recorded an episode even if I wanted to, but I didn't. I wanted to give us a Christmas break, and along the way, we picked up a homeless guy and gave him a job. No, that's so messed up.
Hey, I appreciate it. All the help.
We said we were going to bully him a little bit today.
The new guy.
Yeah. We got to bully the new guy a little bit. But we are joined today by well, he's not really a guest now. He's kind of, he is a guest on the show, but he is part of the Coldwell Banker family. Welcome to the company, Sean. How do you say your last name?
Beuckens.
Yeah, Sean Beuckens. If you have watched pretty much any of this show up until the last couple of weeks, you saw our co-host, Ashley Acker, and she, as we mentioned on several previous shows, left the company to go start her own media company. And Sean...
And I took in that. Okay.
Sean's just realizing that.
I didn't, okay. I got big shoes to fill. Okay.
A light bulb moment for Sean.
Yeah.
This is awesome, Ethan. This is better than we could have expected. But welcome to the company and to the show. Sean, a little bit. Give us a little bit about yourself.
Sure.
Just a short snippet on your background.
Definitely. Could I get a pillow first though before we start? Oh, shit. I like sitting with a pillow. I don't know. I'm like, my whole family does it. We're like filled with pillows wherever we go. It's just, I feel uncomfortable without a pillow, but definitely. But as far as like intros go,
Sorry, go ahead.
I get pretty good. I have like a pretty good like elevator pitch because I was applying for jobs and interviews and stuff. But I'm originally from Europe. I grew up there most of my life. Like my parents were in the military, so they made a career out of it and hopped around to all kinds of different places. Came here to Oregon in high school, and then got to play locally soccer for George Fox. So something that we all have in common, that we're all from.
Yeah.
But
another George Fox person. People listening to this show that have not heard of Newberg or George Fox are just getting the full scoop on George Fox. Yeah. This is free marketing for them.
Yeah, it should be. You should totally get sponsored for this or something like that.
Because we mentioned George. We've had George Fox coach, George Fox, Craig Inglesby.
Yeah. I think I saw a clip on that.
Yeah, he was on the show. Yeah.
You could totally get some merch or something.
There's got to be something. I mean, I am an assistant coach, so I kind of get that anyway. But
like for the pod.
That's true. That's
Save
true.
It for the pod.
Get them to sponsor something.
Yeah.
So you were in Europe. Where in Europe?
It's kind of a weird story. My parents lived in Turkey, we lived in Turkey, but I was born in Germany because they were on like a poor kind of side of Turkey. So I was born there and then lived in Turkey when I was really, really young, and then hopped around to like 3 different places in Germany. Lived in Belgium, which was the most recent, in Brussels at the my mom worked at the headquarters of NATO.
Gotcha. Wow. Okay.
Cool. I call her the mama of the nations. She was on like some like top end like level stuff. But
wow.
Yeah. So hopped around a bunch. So it was kind of like a culture shock to come here and be like, yeah, I'm American, but America, like the U.S. is like kind of foreign to me.
Sure. So and you moved here when you started high school, or?
Yeah.
Okay. Cool.
Which is another, like, you're already awkward at that time.
Sure.
So, like I can't talk to girls, and then like high school, and I don't know anybody. So it was pretty weird.
But you didn't come out of there with an accent.
No. I was firmly, there's like especially in Germany, there's like pockets of American like communities, whether it's like on bases, there's a bunch of bases there. And then like communities that like specifically rent housing for Americans. And so I went to like an international school where most of it's like English speaking and American. I've lost most of the languages that I've like picked up along the way, but
gotcha.
Mostly American. Yeah,
Very cool. Cool. Well, we are very happy to have you here, and I am going to use quite a bit of what you do.
Sweet.
That's I think all of the listeners that follow me on Instagram or see any of my posts or anything, they see some of the work that the marketing team does. So yes, you do have big shoes to fill, but
we're gonna do it.
But yeah. I mean,
I've already got like a list of things that I want to change. But
yeah, that's good, man. We love to see that. As long as you don't anger Ethan, then we should be good.
I mean, there's been a couple times where he's giving me the eye, like in between our monitors. I was like you better watch yourself, new guy. Like
I know the feeling. No, okay. Well, let's really get into things. What's your greatest fear?
Shit. Not living up to my full potential, I think, or to a potential. I get like super anxious when I'm not like doing things, or when I feel just like a lazy asshole like sometimes.
Okay.
So I think that's like probably the biggest motivator and probably one of the biggest fears that I have.
That's really
also,
good.
like, I don't know, loneliness probably too. I don't know. There's like, it can get pretty deep.
This is good. This is good.
Maybe. Who knows?
Oh my god. Okay, that's actually really good fear.
Yeah.
I think that was I was thinking like I thought you were gonna say something like spiders or
Sharks,
fires or stuff like that.
I can't swim, so maybe water, like open ocean.
Okay. I like where you went with it, because I think that actually when we talk about a lot of that kind of stuff on this show,
Totally.
The fear of not living up to your potential. I think that's that can be a real driver for top producers. Actually,
Definitely.
The fear of not living up to the expectations you have for yourself.
Yeah, most of my friends that like after college, you kind of go through like a cut of like the people you stay in contact with. Most of the people I stay in contact with now are kind of like that. They're pretty driven. They're like, they have all these like goals and stuff, but the biggest driver is like, I think half of it though is probably our group chat of like giving to everybody to be like, get off your lazy ass, dude. Like, but
yeah,
it's pretty common.
Yeah, that is good. I mean, that's a good fear to have, I think. Like, as long as you don't take it too far, as long as it doesn't become toxic.
Yeah.
But like I'm kind of the same way. I wouldn't say that's my greatest fear, but it is a big fear of like not living up to what you're capable of. Mm-hmm. And that's a huge driving motivator, driving force. So
what's your greatest fear?
What is my greatest fear? Well, I've long been afraid of forest fires.
That's okay.
Yeah,
You're pretty. Yeah, you can be pretty helpless if you're caught right in the middle of that when you find yourself right in one. Yeah,
that's a good one.
Yeah.
I grew up in Santa Cruz, California.
Okay.
And when I was like 5, I witnessed like a forest fire's flames like licking over some trees, like. It's crazy how it flies up over the tree. Yeah. Terrifying, because we kind of like lived a little bit out of the city, and like that was it. I thought I was to burn like that. I think that
was the Newburgh one over there where you could see like the haze of it a couple of years ago.
Yeah, I stay away from that. That's like that is a huge fear for me.
Drive back home.
But I think the other like if you want to talk about like a deep fear, so that's what I call like the irrational fear, right? Yeah. Like irrational fear, like some people are afraid of, like my fiance is afraid of elevators. Okay. Like, and I understand, like, you could technically die in an elevator, but it's unlikely, and you're probably not going to die in a wildfire either.
Irrational.
Yeah, irrational, more of an irrational fear. I would say probably, my biggest. And this is funny because somebody put it into really, really good words, and I can't remember exactly how they phrased it, but he said it was something to the effect of the overwhelming burden that you won't be able to provide for your family.
Oh, yeah. Being inadequate? Not being a good, like
inadequacy.
No value.
That's good. Yeah, that's a really good one. That is definitely, I think it was because, I was talking with this one guy. He was talking about how, I was like, I'm glad that I am a man. Like I'm glad that I'm a man. I don't have to deal with some of the things that women deal with, right? He said, well, you know what that's replaced with is it was like the overwhelming feeling of lack of providing, providing for those your loved ones.
Yeah.
I'm like,
that'll make you feel there. Like just like nothing.
Yeah. Well, this is good. We've really gotten to know you on this show so far. I want to ask Ethan that question actually, because I don't know what Ethan's answer to that. Ethan's gonna be on the show later today, so maybe we'll ask Ethan about that. Celebrity crush.
I don't know. I've never thought about that.
You've never thought about that?
I have never thought about like a celebrity crush. I'd Dua Lipa, probably. when I heard her music, it was like, who is that? Like the first few songs were like, she like that's awesome. And then I saw her and I was like, oh, I'm in love. There you go. There you go. Oops, I fell in love.
She's an exquisite woman, and I did tell my fiance that I would leave her for her. So, hers is
Oh, your pass? You have a hall pass?
Yeah. Hers is what is his name? Jacob Delordi.
No idea.
You look him up. I understand it. Okay. I understood it when I saw it. Mine was always Natalie Portman or Keira Knightley. Keira Knightley is
a good shout. I don't know why people like for Natalie Portman. I don't want to upset anybody who's fans of Natalie Portman. I've never really thought about anyone really like. But
Natalie Portman was more of a childhood crush.
That makes more sense. That makes yeah. Everybody that says that is like, oh, when I was like young and I like watched like the Star Wars movies or something like that.
Yeah.
But okay, that makes more sense.
Dua Lipa's a good one though. Okay, I like it. I want to know what Ethan's is because Ethan's a married man.
Yeah, you might get in big trouble for that.
Does Heidi listen to this?
You get put into the doghouse.
Heidi doesn't listen to this. Exactly. We're fine.
Well, she will. You're supposed to make her. You're supposed to watch. That's how we get everything going.
That's awesome.
That's true.
Okay, cool. Well, Sean, it has been good to get to know you. Let me give me, because we're going to talk about some New Year's resolutions, New Year's goals. Give me one big goal for yourself in 2023.
Well, it's kind of, I guess I can do one that's real estate. Like,
sure.
Focused would be to buy a house because a lot of my friends are thinking of.
Well, let's chat.
Yeah, we can talk backstage about it. Yeah, but it's more of like an investment rather than an actual like living place.
Yeah.
It, because right now it's like it's just as risky to like just hold money than to put it into anything. So just making different channels, having different channels to flow. Yeah.
That's smart. I've actually seen a lot of George Fox kids in general, and that's actually a good portion of who I go after and who I serve is George Fox kids, and most of them are, like you said, buying not as like I want this to be the dream perfect house, but buying because they're like, oh, I see opportunity to like invest and actually, a lot of them do it close to the university.
Okay. And then rent it out to the students.
Exactly. And for anyone that is listening to this, and it's not just George Fox specific, if you can get a rental near a university, that's huge because barring the university going out of business, you're God forbid, your options.
If they start sponsoring, then we'll say like, don't do that. But
exactly. Until then. But the university is providing just a wealth of renters that you're always going to have. And you can even, if you can make it a super solid investment and provide affordable housing to the people that are going to be attending this university.
It's almost a bit, I wouldn't say almost, like it might be a bit riskier though, because I don't know if like trusting like a family moving in versus like 4 or 5 students. I know we rented a house for my junior, senior year with 4 guys and I handled like all the bills and stuff. And but if there were some other people out of that house that were doing that thing, it'd be a bit riskier for like our owners. But
you're absolutely right. It can be risky. You're putting college kids into a house and trusting them, right? Yeah. Now, another thought to put into that is because of the school, it's not just students that are going to be renting. It's the fact that you're going to have a lot of students looking for all the other housing as well. Well, now you have other normal people, normal families looking for a place to rent. Yeah. And it's like, well, you usher those people into your home because they're not desperate, but they're looking for somewhere else to go. It's just the added pool of people creates more opportunity.
That it's like, it's just like an opportunity, like one of the possibilities rather than like going like 20 miles away from any university and only family. Okay.
It's the rental market is good. It's super smart. And if you can live in that house for a long enough time for it to be considered your primary residence, then you have that minimum down payment.
Is that the FHA?
FHA and conventional.
We need to talk about. We're gonna talk about that because like
I could see that.
One of my friends that I'm trying to do. I think we're trying to do it like this upcoming year. He's like super smart, does his due diligence with everything. And then I came across like an FHA or something, and then started learning. But I might need to learn like the ins and outs of like that stuff because that's probably what we're gonna need to do. Because we're both. We both don't own like the houses we live in now, so like trying to get into one, even for like a little bit. Because it's like a year, right?
It's a year.
For an FHA. Okay.
Yeah. We talked about this before on this show. It's called house hacking. And basically, you live in that home for you get it as your primary residence. 3% down for conventional, 3.5% for FHA. I say conventional is FHA works because you can have less resources and get a loan, but conventional just has better terms in general. So if you can get the conventional loan, it's 3% down. You live in that for a year, maybe 2 years. I mean, I'm doing it right now, and I'll probably live in that house for about 3 years. Okay. You have some folks that you trust and you like come and live with you in the house and charge them rent to live in the house with you. So essentially, you are going to end up paying nothing on your mortgage because they're going to cover it, or not, if not all of it, most of it. Yeah. And then after a year or two, you can fully rent that house out and move into your next one.
Yeah, and then it just builds. Doesn't the down payment, like a low down payment of like 3%, doesn't that make it like you less like competitive though when you're buying a house, or is that not how that works?
Well, see, and that's a great question, and that all has to do with the conditions of the market.
Okay.
So if you are in a market where it's a complete seller's market, it's super competitive, people are coming in with these cash offers, yeah, it's going to be a lot harder, right? Definitely. But with the last couple months, as we've talked about, in the last couple months with the market shifting so drastically,
that's turning around.
It's turned it around. Yeah. And they're not going to technically say it's a buyer's market yet, but it absolutely is a buyer's market. And so I've got folks trying to get a down payment assistant program so that they put 0 down on their home,
and it's still working.
And it's still working. Essentially, at this point, if you are a seller and you get wind of an offer, you're like, bring it. I don't care what it looks like, bring it. I had somebody yesterday who wants to offer a contingent offer. They want to offer to buy a house without having sold their house. So the offer is going to say, this offer is only good if I sell my house. And the seller said, bring it to me. I want that offer. Which a couple months ago, they would have probably laughed at it and not responded. Yeah. And so you can come forward with a 3% down payment right now, and they're like, come on, okay. bring me the offer.
What are you expecting in like a year from now?
So that's actually, I love that you brought that up because that was kind of what we were going to talk about, the crystal ball, right? Yeah. We wanted to do our 2023 prediction, kind of bleeding into 2024. So recessions, they usually last about a year and a half, right? And they're not technically, hopefully, depending on what happens.
They might print more money. Who cares? Don't get political.
Don't get political on this show. Anyway, as we're talking about looking into your crystal ball, right? Where are things going to go in the next year and a half?
Now you quote me on this because this is perfect advice. If you guys have money and you're trying to invest, to do it here with my advice. Wait, what's the question?
I love it. So, if we are looking forward, the recession, they haven't officially called it a recession, but we are in a recession. They actually changed the definition of a recession
just to keep it out. Yeah,
exactly. But it is a recession. We're in it. The writing's on the wall. We've been there since about August or September. So as we and those usually last about a year and a half. So my guess is that this one's going to probably, if I had to make a prediction, please do not quote me on this, but this is
complete opposite of what I said.
Right, exactly. Quote him on it, don't quote me on it. If I had to make a prediction and bet money on it or gamble on it, right? I would say that we're probably going to see the most significant dip over the next 12 months, right? I think we are really seeing the stagnancy right now because we're in the winter months and we're in the market shift, and so no one can get their homes off the market. And right now, buyers and sellers are in a standoff where the buyers are saying, we can't afford your home even though we want it because the interest rates are too high, and the sellers are saying, we want old market pricing. And it's like, well, some of things got to give. Yeah. And the first person to give is going to have to be sellers because sellers are the only ones who can actually do something about it.
Yeah, the buyers don't have any leeway.
They don't have power, right? The sellers have the power to lower their price. So that's what's going to happen. And over the next year, you're going to see the prices continue to slide. Now, it's not smart to try to time the market. So when the time is best for you to go ahead and make the purchase, go ahead and make it. But over the next year is when you are going to see those prices slide down. Now, when are they going to creep back up? I think now summer's a busy season, right?
Okay.
And we'll see things pick up this summer anyway, but not nearly to the extent they were the last couple of years. But when are they going to go back up, right? Because real estate always goes back up. I think we're going to see it remain cold and icy all the way through next winter, but start really to pick up in April and May of 2024. I think that if I'm making, looking into the crystal ball, making my magical prediction, that's what I see, because that's going to be the length of the recession. We're going to be coming out of it. The Feds are going to want to stimulate some growth. They're going to lower the interest rates back down again.
Hopefully.
Please, God. Or by that time, what the Fed's goal has been all along has been to kind of reset the housing market and lower prices. Sellers will have lowered their prices to the point where buyers can't afford things once more, and so things are going to pick right back up again. The reason they're going to pick back up again is because we still have a major inventory problem. Just because the inventory has gone up over the last couple months doesn't mean the problem's improved. We still have more buyers than we have homes.
Yeah.
Just because they haven't bought them. The only reason they haven't bought them is because they can't buy them right now.
Definitely.
But I've got 40 people in my database right now that are texting me every day saying, "Where's my home? Where's my home? Where's my home?"
That's a weird flex. You're pretty busy, pretty popular guy, huh?
40 people in my database. But
more than me.
that's a good thing, right? Yeah. You don't need people in your database.
Hey, man. We're all lonely.
We're all alone.
Don't want to die alone.
Oh my God. That's good. So anyway, that's kind of my prediction of where things will go. Now I want to hear where your prediction is.
Hey man, you said some smart stuff, some outrageous stuff that I wouldn't agree with at all. It's kind of interesting, like just the market or real estate market, or just like the economy of like where it's heading. Of like
Sean, you take this where you want to take this.
Because it was like interesting that like you immediately slapped on the real estate like lens of like where you saw like the recession, how it affected like you. For me, the biggest part was that I noticed within these last months was like the job market of like how the recession's hitting that, of like these indestructible companies like Nike that are, especially Nike because it's like in Beaverton, it's super close, of how I've had like 2 interview like processes that I went through for like their jobs when I was looking for a job, and both of them were like contract. It's like the entry level stuff that they do. It's like a flexible workforce, and they kind of like vet you in, and they both times were like they like instantly kind of stopped and held back and were like hesitant, and they had to like get budget approvals for everything, and eventually they fell through for all of those. So from what I've seen of like those companies, all of them are like starting to cut back, these major companies, for jobs and stuff. There's a huge like layoffs, obviously. The price of eggs is going up a stupid amount, so that doesn't feel good either. But as far as like real estate, I'm thinking like, especially with like everything in the world, like how many like things affected like this one, especially this like recession that we're going into. There's like a lot of moving pieces for it. I think it could have the potential to go on longer than just a year. Most of them last like that long, but especially like, again, not to get like political, but if we keep printing money and giving it to other people, and they just keep printing money over and over again for like all these different things, it could last, I think, like years. But I'm hopeful. 12 months is good. I'd like the joke to stop at 12 months. This weird, silly joke. For real estate, I haven't done a huge amount of research on it, but I have seen like when you look back like from the summer to like now, there's been like 10,000 minus, like for prices and stuff, like minus 10,000, minus 5,000. Like they're constantly cutting it. Yeah. I'd say like 12 months is probably there. It's going to dip and then it'll probably come back up really strong. Cause like you said, there's a ton more buyers than inventory. It's just the buyers can't buy it right now. Exactly. And so I think there's going to be like a gold rush, not a gold rush, but like it's gonna it's just gonna be like boop, there it is. Back the kind of the COVID rush, right? We saw it in 2019, 2020. When they were just like giving it away for free. It's crazy. My parents like refinanced on like $1 million home, and they saved thousands of dollars. Like yeah. I mean, they probably have like a 2 or 3% interest rate right now. Yeah, and they're just sitting comfy now. Yeah, so they wouldn't. There's no reason for them to move. But there's a whole portion of sellers that have to sell their homes. Yeah, and at a certain point, they will reach a breaking point. And just knowing the psychology of sellers and how they start to
they start to panic when their home doesn't sell, and they start to get frustrated when their home doesn't sell. I mean, we've already seen it. It's about a 5% decrease in prices. Okay. We're not going to see a crash because the crash is related to mortgage fraud that occurred back in 2007 and 2008.
Yeah, which who knows? Like maybe they'll start doing it.
Maybe yeah. Hey,
they
who
can
knows?
just give me mortgages.
I'll keep my ears open for mortgage fraud. But it's unlikely.
When that happens, I'll tune in. I'll be the first one to tune in. This podcast will be the first to tune in. So.
Sean says, I would like to get in on that. So we've seen the 5% decrease, and it'll probably continue. But the 20% crash that we saw back in 2007, 2008, that is what basically the line where they consider it to be a crash is 20%. Okay. So we're seeing a dip. We're seeing a slide. We're pretty far away from that. It's not going to crash. But we're going to see that continue to slide down as long as sellers are unable to sell their homes because buyers just can't buy them. So that's your anything else you wanted to add to that?
Hey man, buy gold. I don't know.
Buy crypto, guys.
Buy crypto.
Everyone buy crypto.
Bitcoin these days is like, it's just as risky as dollars. Like it's USD. Like what? Who cares?
Unless you can't get it out of your platform I can't with Voyager.
That's true, but you only live once. Like, come on, live a little. What are you gonna do? Hoard the money? Come on, just let it all go.
That's correct. You only live once, and I'm currently going to live very poorly once if I continue to do the business that I did with Voyager.
Again, we get a couple sponsors on this podcast.
Sure, we should get Voyager to sponsor.
We'll get some sponsors on this podcast.
All right, awesome. Well, that is your 2023 market prediction. We will revisit this back in 2024 and see how close we got. That'll be fun to actually kind of come back and see if we hit the nail on the head.
Oh dear.
Yeah. Oh dear.
Like, right. What's Bitcoin? It's like in 24.
Right. There's gonna be something different.
Yeah.
But anyway. I hope that was helpful for you guys. We got a little bit of everything. We met Sean. We got another review on house hacking and the benefits that can have for investing into our portfolio properties, the pros and cons of renting near a college, a market prediction. We got everything in there. So, Sean, thank you for joining the show today. Awesome. We will have you back on this show periodically because, you are actually 2.0.
Dude, I'm just a wealth of knowledge. Just ready to give it all out.
Awesome. Well, thank you for joining the show, and we will have you on next time.
Thank you for having me.
Welcome back to the show. We took a small break to move Sean out of here and move Ethan into here.
The swamp.
The swamp.
Co-host swap.
Well, welcome back to the show, Peanut Butter Boy.
Thank you. Glad to be here.
Yeah, and we are going to be talking about our New Year's resolutions / 2023 goals.
I like it.
Okay, I've got 3.
Nice.
How many do you have?
5. But I made 2 of them very easy, and then the 3 are going to be a little harder.
Okay. Let's go. I want to hear your first.
All right. Number 1 is I've already signed up for it, so I just got to do it now. But it's a half marathon in April.
Oh, yeah.
In Eugene.
Oh, yeah.
It should be pretty chill. Not worried about it, but it's eventually I want to get to the point where I can do a triathlon and then an Ironman. But I have to learn how to swim first, so that'll be fun.
Do you not know how to swim?
Not well. It's really bad. Like, my swimming is terrible. I always say I swim to survive, not for fun.
What?
Yeah, it's sad. And my dad was in the Coast Guard, so I mean, full circle.
Wow, that's crazy. That's both you and Sean don't know how to swim?
Yeah.
That's crazy. I mean, I should start.
Swim
Real
lessons.
estate doesn't work out for me. Swim lessons is my
Adult
calling.
swim lessons. That's the hard part is like once you reach the age of like adulthood and you're like, can someone show me how to swim?
Yeah.
Everyone's like.
It's like, drown.
Too late, sorry.
Go drown.
So that's unfortunate. I actually was going to put swimming on here, but then I figured I'd tackle that throughout the year, but then make it a bigger goal.
Okay. Very cool. Yeah. All right. So triathlon is your number 1, or not triathlon.
Just the half
marathon
currently.
as your number 1.
Number 1.
Okay. Very cool.
About
my number 1 was more gratitude, and I know that's very. It's not. I'm going to talk about SMART goals in just a second.
Yeah.
But that's really not a SMART goal because it's like, oh, awesome, be more grateful. But talking to Ben and talking to other people in this community, a focus on just the daily practice of gratitude and picking out like 3 things a day that you can be grateful for, and just looking at just reframing situations as an opportunity to show gratitude is something that I'm really focusing on in 2023, because I think there's oftentimes, especially in this business, there's a potential for you to view things as wins and losses.
Right.
And when you start doing that, it gets tough because, like, for example, this morning I had a call scheduled with a potential seller, which is huge, right? That's big. She told me she wanted to sell her house and wanted to talk on the phone, and we scheduled it like 2 days ago. So we had it scheduled for today, was ready to go, called her on the phone, she answered, and she goes, first thing she goes, hey, thank you so much, but I'm in this with my parents and they already found an agent.
Jeez.
So instead of like hucking my phone across the room, it was like very much of a zen, like,
Right.
okay, come back down to earth and don't like lose your mind. Just be grateful for the opportunity to have, checked another box off the list, and, the opportunity is sailed. And instead of saying, screw you, get out of my life, I just said, hey, you know what? If you ever need somebody to talk to about this, if you have questions, please feel free to reach out. Right.
Exactly. Always keep the connection there.
Yeah. So gratitude.
case.
Yeah. Yeah. Just in case. Yeah. So gratitude is my number 1. Hit me with your number 2.
Number 2 is I'm a Christian. So me and God time, since it's really slowed down last year. So I'm starting the morning off with like a devotional, same with like gratitude, gets my headspace. And even if you're not a Christian, just like sitting down, really being grateful for the things that you appreciate in life, the people you have in life, the things you have, whatever, and just like focusing on something, being grateful for, or whatever, meditating, whatever you need in the morning. It just like helps your mindset just kind of shift. And that's another big thing for this year is mindset for me. Listening to David Goggins, Can't Hurt Me.
Oh yeah.
That dude's freaking nuts. If you don't know who he is, check him out. He's an animal.
He absolutely is. I've seen a lot of his Instagram stuff, and a lot of the athletes that I coach really subscribe to some of the things that he says.
Yeah. I think like with anything, you take nuggets of information, keep what you want, take out what you don't, because everyone is wired differently. And so don't like go into kidney failure during like an ultra marathon.
If you can't get up at 5 a.m. every morning, you're
Exactly. It's like, if you're working a job you hate, you suck. You're a piece of garbage. And like, I like that, honestly, but some people are just like, oh, I can't do that, which is fine. Find someone that works for you, and
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, that's good. I think mindset is everything. We talk about a lot about that on this show, and your mindset will dictate what you do. And honestly, most of my resolutions are mindset related. My second is to give more. And that is specific. I do want to give more. I realized that in the last year or two, I've been given a lot, right?
Right.
I've started this career and I've received a lot of support from a lot of people. Now I want to give to others. I think the practice of giving is not just like, oh, here, let me hand you something. It's really about building a connection and growing a relationship with somebody. Giving is a really great way to do that, because if you remember the episode that we had with Craig Inglesby, he talked about paying a cost to have a seat at the table. And I think that to have an impact on other people's lives, you do have to sometimes pay a cost to be at the table. If you notice, I'm wearing this jersey. Go Niners, baby. Nick Bosa, number 97. Let's go. He's going to sack your quarterback. And the reason I'm wearing this is because I did start something this year, and I'm not trying to pat myself on the back. I just want to spread awareness about it. Jersey Thursday. On Thursdays, I want people to wear your favorite jersey or a jersey or any jersey. I have about 1 billion of them. And I'm going to be wearing different ones every week, but to the office, wear your jersey. And it's fun because everyone gets involved, right? You do something fun. I mean, I love an excuse to wear a jersey around. Right. But along with that, post a picture on social media, or if you don't want to do that, you don't have to do that, but along with wearing the jersey is making a small and sustainable donation to a charity. And the reason I say social media is because they actually have fundraisers that you can really easily set up on Instagram. And so that's something that I'm going to be doing, because number one, I want to give myself, and I want to give other people the opportunity to give as well.
Right.
But I just think that is really important. I think there's not a lot of things in this life we do that matter.
Right.
Don't take that the wrong way.
No, it's other people. Like,
there's not a lot of stuff we do that matters, but giving to others who need it, that matters.
Right. And
So-
giving, like right now, a lot of people are struggling, like even middle class, upper middle class people are struggling, and giving when it's hard is most important. And so
Oh yeah.
help someone else.
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. So Jersey Thursday, be a part of it. Do it.
Thursday.
Yeah.
it
All right, Ethan, your number 3rd.
Next is play video games socially.
Yes, let's
So,
go.
A lot of times, like, I have a long day or whatever, and I don't play much video games, but when I do, I just like lock in by myself. Then I'm just like clocked out for like 5 hours playing like Red Dead or something.
Yeah.
I'm like, I'm not building any relationship right now. This is just me like mind numbing myself, where I could be just like at least having someone else playing.
Yeah.
And like hanging out, talking. So
Yeah.
that's another one. When I play, it has to be with someone else.
That's awesome. I love that. I actually, I did that a couple of years ago. Now that I do real estate, I basically have no time for it.
Yeah.
But when I did play video games, I like my brother or a couple of my brothers, I have 2 brothers, with my brothers or with other friends. It was a great way. I had friends that lived out of state. I met random people through it too. It's just, it was awesome. Like it was no longer like we played Fortnite. It was no longer about the game. It was about just hanging with your bros, hanging with the fellas. It was
fun.
awesome. Yeah, that's a great one. So those are my 3 resolutions. I'm going to let you share your 2 others.
My last 2. So my other one is read at least 12 books this year, one a month. But I'm on track now to like double that off this first month. We'll see if I can keep this
Heck yeah.
going. But so far I've like haven't watched TV, just like open up a book or whatever. And then I have like Audible now for this year. So I got Audible going in my ears. I don't count that as like reading a book, so it doesn't count towards my 12. But yeah, starting with the Narnia series and then reading.
Those are so good.
It's called Green, Black, Red, and White. It's by Ted Decker, who's an interesting author. It's like a full. Anyway, 12 books.
That's awesome. Okay, read more. Last one.
Last one is same kind of concept as play video games, but once a week call someone I haven't talked to, or just call a friend weekly and just like catch up, say hi.
Smart.
Just
Real smart.
once a week, call someone I haven't talked to just to keep up, because time flies and you'll be dead soon.
Hey, man, on that note.
How exciting.
That's a good quote. Time flies and you'll be dead soon. That's awesome. Yeah, I think those are all really good. And most of those are SMART goals. And I want to share that with our listeners here. SMART goals: specific, measurable, achievable, realistic, and time-oriented. It's an acronym if you haven't got that yet. And I love SMART goals because they give you something to actually shoot for. And you can totally measure it. And it makes sure, like, some people set these goals that are like, I want to be a millionaire by 6 months from now.
Right.
It's like, okay, awesome. Odds are you probably won't do that. It's not really realistic. And you don't really have a pathway to do that. But if you set SMART goals, you give yourself a pathway to do exactly what you said you would do. And it's really helpful for framing your goal, because you have 12 books you want to read. How are you going to read those books? What days are, like, when are you going to set time aside to do that, right? You have to be intentional about those things, and SMART goals really help you become an intentional person. So that's really what I'm focusing on in 2023, is continuing to develop SMART goals, because you can actually write it down on a piece of paper, and it just makes your goal a lot more achievable. So 2023, hit those SMART goals, write it down. Specific, measurable, achievable, realistic, time-oriented.
And that's good for, like, we had to learn about that in like fitness classes, making your fitness goals SMART, making just for anything you want to achieve, write down in SMART goal form.
Absolutely. Yeah. And write it down too. Like, that's another important piece. Write it down, because the mind to paper connection that you make,
Right. It's huge.
It's huge. Yeah. If it's not written down, you're probably not going to do it. So write it down.
And it's good to like keep it in your face all the time. So Post-it note.
Yes.
Something. Post-it note, your fridge, something.
You said you put yours on your mirror.
Yeah, it's on our me and Heidi have our relationship goals for the year.
Nice.
Then we have like our personal goals on the side. So
that's really good, man.
Yeah.
That is super solid.
We're making this your very
That's
personal growth year.
Yeah. Love it.
So,
I love it.
Very
that's
exciting.
That is my whole life purpose, is personal growth. So I get fired up about that.
It's pretty, like, and so far it's completely changed. Like, Heidi comes home now like not like she was like depressed coming home, but now she comes up like excited to do something to like improve herself. So
yes,
same with me. I don't know why I singled her out, but yeah, same with me.
But I mean, that's really good because now you're no longer just like getting through the day. You're no longer just like trudging through the waters of life. You have purpose, and that is, I think, really, really awesome. It fuels the fire of life. So yeah,
you're excited for the next day versus like, well, I'm gonna go to bed, go to work. This sucks.
Yeah. Why do we do this? Yeah. Yeah. Awesome. Who does Peanut Butter Boy love?
Crushing on hardcore. So it used to be number one, Anna Kendrick, in Pitch Perfect, that girl.
Interesting.
Yeah. So I was just like, She came out with a Christmas movie and we're scrolling through it, and Heidi knows I'm like obsessed with Anna Kendrick, and it like passed by. I'm like, oh, that looks interesting. And she was like, we're not watching. We're not watching. Anna Kendrick used to be number one, but now because I'm watching White Lotus a little bit, which is like a very, if you like being uncomfortable, like just uncomfortable for like an hour, watch White Lotus. It's it's puts you in such a weird mind space. It's an odd show. Anyway, but because of that, Alexandra Daddario, she was in like the Percy Jackson movies as
I didn't mean to say
back in the day. Alexandra! Now we're talking. Yeah, I don't know where she's been, but then I've refound her with this. I'm like, dang, dude.
Yeah,
she's stunning.
She is a beautiful lady.
Her eyes, I'm just like, I could just like look at her eyes all day.
She's a fine dame. Yes. That's a good one. I didn't even think about that one. That is a really good one. She was in that like time travel movie. I don't remember what it was. Got that guy that kind of looks like the knockoff version of Zac Efron. I don't remember his name right now.
I can't think of it.
But basically, like, has this crush on this girl, and he like goes back in time like a billion. Like he can reset the day. Goes back a billion times until he finally gets it right. That kind of deal. Yeah.
Dang. Well, yeah. I'm gonna more seek out her movies now because like her acting.
Heidi's like,
she's
why
nice
are we
looking.
watching all of these movies?
I see her now all the time. Yeah. I don't know why.
That's awesome. Yeah. My fiance is well aware that of my celebrity crushes. So. She does nothing to stop it. She just accepts it.
Like nothing. Like, what are the odds you're ever gonna meet them? And if you do, you'll probably just be like,
"Hi,
she's right there."
That's hilarious. Okay, real quick before we go, what's your greatest fear?
Greatest fear. So we talked about the illegitimate ones or whatever, like the
like the irrational fears.
Irrational ones.
Yeah,
illegitimate, whatever. Irrational. Bees. I have a struggle with bees.
Yeah,
unfortunately, because they're great, but I don't know, just something about them freaks me out.
Yep.
Like I've been stung. It's not that big of a deal, but just like the bees and all around.
The thought
you.
of like, can you imagine like bees covering your face?
Yeah, can't do it.
Oh God,
no thanks. And then swimming, which I got to tackle. I'm gonna start tackling this year. It's just stupid that you're like afraid of water. So I want to build water confidence and all that fun stuff.
Hell yeah.
So I'm gonna like torture myself underwater until I'm fine with it.
Heidi just like hold your head in a bathtub.
Heidi was like she was a lifeguard, so I'm like I feel fine if I just like hold a brick and I'm underwater, just like running around doing whatever, just to feel better about the water. So,
oh, that's awesome.
That's a big one. And then the like deep fear is dying young. I don't want to like randomly die because then it feels like so much life, so many memories.
Yeah, all that potential.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Wasted.
That's a tough one. I feel that one. But these are the important things to like think about and talk about, because I think like as young people, we probably we have a, not a God complex, but like a, like I am immortal, like an immortality kind of deal.
It's like, I'm super healthy. I can't be touched. I'm going to get these plans. Yeah.
This is kind of the age where you start to kind of realize that, like face your own mortality.
And people around you are getting older and having issues. And you're like, oh, I guess that's around the corner, actually.
Yeah. We have a long time before that happens.
Yep.
Okay, moving on. But yes, thank you for joining us for another episode of Tim Talks. I want to encourage you all to go out, set your goals, hit your resolutions. Don't give up after 2 weeks when you don't get the results you were looking for. Keep fighting, keep moving forward. Make 2023 your year. Go out and get it done. You got this. Everybody who's listening or on this show or out there in the office, everybody, Go get it done. Thank you for joining us for another episode. We will be back next week with the Focus Corner because it's that time of month. Awesome. You guys know the drill. Go ahead and like, subscribe, comment, all that good stuff. If you're seeing us on Instagram, share us, drop us a comment, and we will be back next week. Ethan, from your chair, roll the outro music.